Representative West is serving his second term representing the 67th District, and he serves on the Legislative Ethics Commission and 6 other committees. He is particularly proud of his work to enhance worker skills in our community by bringing over $2 million for training and youth employment. And the Workforce Connection is here tonight too, and we really appreciate the work that that organization does with the resources that are being brought to our community. Representative West is a strong advocate for mental health and restorative justice. And boy, we learned a lot last month from Chairman Shirelli about the justice system here locally and the complexities of that work. And so thank you for supporting that as well. Prior to becoming a legislator, Representative West worked in career development with higher education in Rockford. He is an ordained minister and is heavily involved with community organizations throughout our region. He is married to his beautiful wife, Leslie, who is here today with us. Leslie, thank you for joining us. It's my honor to serve with her at the Airport Board of Commissioners and, be involved in everything going on out there. And so going there, doing your day job, and being married to a representative with a young son, you are a superwoman. So thanks for all you do, too. So, Representative West, we invite you to the podium to give your State of the State.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm going to just say that one more time. I don't think you heard me. Good afternoon, everyone. So before I get started, I'm really excited to be here, but a disclaimer. I'm a preaching politician, and you just put a microphone in front of me, and that could be dangerous. So, Tanya, how long do I have?
I'll give you a signal.
Okay, cool. Because I could do 30 minutes, I could do 2 hours, but I want to make sure that I keep you guys engaged. I'm really excited to be here. I want to first thank Tanya. If we can give Tanya a round of applause for the work that you're doing for the Parks Chamber. To the staff of the Parks Chamber, to all of the elected officials. I saw Mayor Johnson, Mayor Jury, to all of you, but last but not least, to my one and only, my first lady, Leslie, my rock. Who helps me even when, is that better? Thanks, boo. That's why you're my wife. Help a brother out. So I'm really excited to give you my perspective of the state of the state. As you heard, we have 5 different legislators that represent our region. I'm honored and I feel the pressure of being first, but I could set the stage, and that's what I'm really looking forward to on today. So I have an agenda to keep me on track so I won't go too long. So today we're going to have 3 items on the agenda. We're going to start with who I am. What it means for me to be a legislator, what it means for me to represent the 67th District, and then we'll go over some legislative priorities and successes that I've had, not just this past session, but also over the past 3 years that I've been in office since 2019, and then I'll give you a State of Illinois update. I want to give a quick shout out to my former employer, Rockford University, Dr. Fulcomer. That's where I got all my career development experience. So when Tanya asked me to email this PowerPoint to her, but I got really happy with my PowerPoint and put a whole bunch of pictures and videos, and it was like 3 gigabytes, and I couldn't get it to her, so I'm really thankful that she found a way to make this happen. But I put these pictures up because they kind of represent who I am, and I'm sorry that you guys can't see it from way over there. But as you see in the middle, I have a picture of me and my wife and my baby girl in our Christmas pajamas. They are my everything. And I know a lot of us here are married and we are supposed to say that about our significant other, but she's truly my everything. And so let's start with the 67th District. Since I'm the state rep of the 67th District, I want you to know what it looks like. So this is the current map. See, does this have a laser too?
I don't think so.
This is the current map of the 67th district. As you see, I think I have a neighborhood in Loves Park, a neighborhood in Cherry Valley. The majority of it is the city of Rockford. A lot of it is the west and south side of Rockford and the southeast side of Rockford. However, I'm currently working towards representing this new map. As you know, when the census came out in 2020, we had to use that to draw new lines, and this is what the 67th will look like in 2023. Half of Loves Park now, more Cherry Valley, all of New Milford, and Rockford. And that excites me because now I just don't have to deal with one mayor. I can have more relationships. I can build more relationships with Mayor Jury, the mayor of New Milford, or the president of New Milford and Cherry Valley. So I'm really looking forward to that, but that's not till 2023. Again, I'm working towards it. I'm not going to think that I'm already there. I'm working towards it come November. The reason why it looks different from this one, the current map, compared to what it's going to be, is because constitutionally, we all 118 House representatives must represent the same amount of people as much as possible. So that's roughly 108,000 individuals. That's when this map was made, we had 108,000 individuals in that district. Now we have 101. So I had the second most population loss in the state of Illinois. And so we had to expand to meet that number as what it's supposed to be. I don't see that as a bad thing because again, it gives me the opportunity to build even more relationships, which is why I'm really excited to be here to build relationships with individuals I've never met face to face. A lot of you that we've seen each other in passing, but I'm hoping that after today, after you hear about who I am, what I've been working on, and what we've been doing, we can find a way to work together as well in the future. So let's go back to who I am. I mentioned that I was a preacher, but I want to also explain to you, I've been in the political arena for going on 10 years now, but I've only been in office for 3, which means I've been trying to get in office 6 years before I finally got it. I started in 2013. I ran for city council against, I call them Samson and Goliath, a 12-year incumbent, and this guy named Tom McNamara. Naturally, as you know, I lost. And then I ran for Rock Valley College trustee. Anyone from Rock Valley here? Okay, I was going to blame you to why I lost, but I ran for Rock Valley College trustee, and I lost that too. And naturally, you're 0 for 2. I said to myself, 3rd time's a charm, or 3 strikes you're out. Do I want to take that chance? I don't want to go 0 for 3. However, those losses helped me to become the next state rep of the 67th. And hindsight's always 20/20. If I was given the opportunity to go backwards and say, you will win those seats, I would say no. The best thing that happened to me politically was losing those 2 seats. Why? Because it helped me to understand who I am politically. It helped me to create values of myself. I ran as an independent, and Rock Valley was a nonpartisan election. I literally did not know the difference between a Democrat or a Republican. Did not care the difference when I first started because I did not think I was going to go into this political arena. And so I had 6 years to understand who Maurice was. And with that, it helped me to come up with my own values of who I am. And so on my website, my state website, my campaign website, in all of my offices, I have my own political manifesto. And if you don't mind, I'll read it verbatim. I know you can see it, but I'm going to read it verbatim so you can understand who Maurice is. Not Rep West, but Maurice. My mission is to serve as an elected official solely directed by a manifesto that I adopted early in my career. This manifesto is my personal political values. These values are built by my life experiences and beliefs, especially my call to preach the gospel. This manifesto serves as my playbook to abide by. This manifesto serves as my playbook to abide by. Thus, every move I make, every vote I take is not... Is that a song? I promise you I wasn't trying that. But every move I make and every vote I take is not for the party. Every move I make and that I take is not for the party. It's because the vote aligned with those 12 points, or the move I needed to make somehow aligned with those 12 points. When I looked at my 12-point plan and looked at the values of both parties, that's what makes me a Democrat. Nothing else. I created my own values. And so when people ask me, what do I need to do before I run for office? You need to know who you are. Because if you come in thinking that the party is going to make and break you or mold you, you're going to be a dangerous individual, and I don't want to be affiliated with you. But if you understand who you are as the elected official, not what the party is, but who you are, what you will stand for, then you'll be successful. This 12-point plan, I adopted it verbatim from John Wesley. He was the founder of the Methodist Church in the 18th century. He said, number one, reduce the gap between rich people and poor people. Help everyone to have a job. Help the poorest, including in introducing a living wage. Offer the best possible education. Help everyone to feel they can make a difference. Promote tolerance. Promote equal treatment. For women, create a society based on values and not profits and consumerism. End all forms of slavery. He said this in the 1700s. Avoid getting into wars. Avoid narrow self-interest and promote a world view and care for the environment. So when I saw this, it pricked me, and I made sure that every move, literally, every meeting I have, if I have a meeting with you and you say, Rep, we have a favor. Can you do X, Y, and Z? If it aligns with this, I'm a yes. If it doesn't, I'm a hard no. And that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me focused on what I need to do. So let me skip a slide real quick. I'll come back to that one. So that's why I adopted this term, community empowerment. As you can imagine, 2020, I came in 2019. 2020 happened. We had the pandemic. We had the killing of George Floyd that brought up uprising throughout the nation. And here in the Rockford region, I'm the only black legislator. So when it happened, all the cameras said, what do you have to say? What do you think? What's your thoughts? What do you want to see out of this? Tell us more about the experience. And so, and as we know, there was various protests that happened, and I was thankful to find this term, community empowerment. I learned that those 12-point plans, it has to empower the community. Dr. King said, and I'm going to paraphrase, and I might mess it up, an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, which tells me if there's one community that's suffering, then all of us, in some way, shape, or form, is suffering. Quick subject, what my dad would say, quick public service announcement. This is why I never say a slogan. I don't go with Black Lives Matter. I don't go with All Lives Matter. Because if I go to one side of the slogan, I alienate everyone on this side. And if I go on this side, I alienate this side, right? And so I'll put it on camera. Any elected official who dwells and sides on slogans, shame on you. Because you're alienating individuals who you represent. So instead, I told everyone in 2020, we need to focus on community empowerment. Whatever we do, it needs to empower our whole community. It's not about shaming and blaming all law enforcement. It's about bringing the community in parity with law enforcement. Now let me get back to the slide beforehand. But that's where my focus is. That's what I work on. That's what that's my drive as state rep of the 67th. So it also my drive to the committees that I've chosen to be on. I'm the vice chair of higher education, and currently, there we go. The vice chair of higher education committee. I'm a member of the Judiciary Criminal Committee, which is pretty much anything like criminal justice related goes through that committee. I'm the chair, not the chair, but I might be the chair next term of the Mental Health and Addictions Committee. restorative justice, revenue and finance, and I skipped one, I'm sorry, public utilities as well. So I'm on 6 different committees. And then last year, in February, the Speaker of the House appointed me to the Legislative Ethics Commission. It's a bipartisan 8-member commission out of 177 representatives and senators. I'm one of 8 who works on the ethics of those representatives and senators. Because another focus of mine, restoring trust in government. January 9th, 2019, I was sworn in. First time. Remember I said it took me 6 years to get there? January 10th, I got a message, "You are corrupt." I'm like, I didn't even do anything yet. I don't even know how to become. I've only been a rep for less than 24 hours, but I appreciated it because I know where she was coming from. It had everything to do with the past and what was going on in the past. And so I made sure that wasn't me. So one thing that I had to do when it comes now to my legislative priorities, before I got into office, you can't see it because you're so far away. I had all black hair and all black beard, but now I got salt and pepper now. And it was because of the stress that I went through, that I had to go through. But because I said all that I said about who I am, I knew I had to make a stand, right? So one of my strong successes so far is that I'm one of the few who took out the king. It took 19 legislators to say no to Madigan, and I was the only black caucus member to say no. It brought hell and high water from downstate, of course, from him, of course, but even from elected officials who are friends of mine here in the region. But I knew it was right. If I was focused on the party, like I said earlier, if I was focused on the party, then I would have kept my mouth shut and let him do his thing. But because I had my own values that I had to focus on, that was driving me, I had no choice but to step out and say, I cannot support you while you have this FBI raid over your head. My constituents, and it wasn't for the promotion of Maurice, it was because I had a duty to my constituents to make sure they knew that I was on the up and up and that I was fighting for them and only them, and I wasn't trying to do anything to help myself out. So I stepped out and said, I can't support you. And it brought craziness, but fast forward a couple more months, I had the opportunity to nominate on the House floor the first black speaker of the state of Illinois because we won. And now this is not a personal dig to Mike Madigan himself, because I learned some things from him. My grandfather would say, chew the meat, throw the bones away. There are some things you can consume, and the rest you throw it away. So I learned some things from him, but I knew what's right is right, no matter what the cost is. And I was willing to lose my seat, honestly. And thank God I didn't have to get to that point, right? But let's talk about some wins that's coming back to our region. And I could talk about the legislation that I've filed and the bills that I've passed. I would love to go through that with you on an individual basis. I've passed 20 bills more than 20 out the House. But as you know, how democracy works, just because you pass it out the House doesn't mean it will pass out the Senate. So a lot of my bills would pass out the House and just sit there in the Senate. So if you want to know more about that, I'll talk to you. But what kind of investment is coming back to the region from the state, at least that I know about, the work that I've worked on, and this is just some of it. I know there's more, like some of my colleagues have other wins that are coming back to the region, and they'll talk about it during their spotlight. This is mine. So I'll talk about the Workforce Equity Initiative grant. So far, over $3 million since 2019. It's been like 1.2 to 1.5 a year since 2019 to go to Rock Valley College. And reason why I'm excited about this is because one of my talking points when I was running for office was I'm an expert in workforce development, and an expert in career development, having done it for almost 10 years. And I'm here to tell you that I'm not going to bring jobs to the district. Politicians always say, elect me, you're going to have jobs, come into our district. Nope, I'm not going to even lie to you like that. If you elect me, I'm not going to bring jobs. Because you know what? I learned that jobs are not going to come. You all are business owners. You understand how hard it is to find a skilled workforce, skilled applicants. 44,000, and this is the last number, it may be different. 44,000 people in our region without a high school diploma or GED. 44,000 individuals. So my job was to decrease that skill gap, decrease it. The Workforce Equity Initiative helps to decrease. It's short-term training plans, less than a year, that gets you into a job that's of a livable wage. College is great. Not everyone can go to college, but everyone can get a license or certification in some way, shape, or form. And so we work on increasing the skills set of our community, then the jobs will come. Because I saw it firsthand, jobs looking at Rockford, and then like, y'all don't have enough people that I can, and then they'll go somewhere else. Or they'll look, and I'm just using Rockford, come from Rockford. They'll look at Rockford, and God forbid, they'll go to Loves Park instead. Because of the skill, the workforce wasn't there. And so collectively as a region, that's what we need to work on, decreasing the skills gap. And then you'll start seeing more jobs coming. You all as business owners will be more satisfied with the people that you hire. I'm a firm believer we'll see the decrease in crime and the decrease in our property taxes because we increase the tax base. That's what I'm all about. So $3 million for that, $3 million for a deferred prosecution program. This is another thing that I worked on. And when is our press conference, Jeremy? May 4th, I'm going to have a press conference about the deferred prosecution program with our state's attorney, a Republican and a Democrat. Who cares, right? This deferred prosecution program is to give a second chance to non-violent offenders. People who we've all been young and dumb in some shape or form, right? But what's the 11th commandment? Don't get caught. Individuals have been caught. They get slapped on the wrist, and I see so many people in their 40s still can't find a job because of what happened when they were 17, and it wasn't even a violent offense. Like if you hurt somebody, then I'm not gonna rock with you. I'm not gonna help you. But if it's a non-violent offense, then let's work on this. And I want to applaud Jay Hanley, Maryland Height Ross, and Joe Piscato because Winnebago County had their own deferred prosecution program already in place. And if you had the money, you can go through it. And what it looks like, I get an assessment. I find out why I did the assault or I did the offense. I admit to the offense. I say sorry to the one I offended, and I go through the process of being restored and rehabilitated. And if I go through the program, my record is dropped. Here in Winnebago County, we had a 2.5% recidivism. Out of 500 people who went through 2.5% of the individuals who went through the program did not finish it. That's what I meant to say. Out of 500 people, only 14 people did not finish the program. However, again, only if you have the money. So this $3 million is to help those even if they don't have the money to go through this program so that they can also get a job, be too busy to commit crimes, add to our tax base, help us to lower property taxes. We have to flank our issues because since I was a little baby, everyone said, I'm going to bring jobs and reduce crime. That's been the talking point since I'm an 80s baby, 80s/90s. That's been the talking point since then, and I'm assuming it was even before that. We can no longer tackle these issues head on. We have to flank them. So why are people committing crime? What can we do to help them to stop? How can we help neighbors, communities to lift themselves up? Another Dr. King quote, it's a cruel jest to tell a bootless man to lift himself up from the bootstraps. Well, this helps individuals to get boots. And so really excited about this. And guess what? This $3 million, this deferred prosecution program, out of 102 counties, it's only going to be in one county as a pilot program, and that's Winnebago. So I'm really looking forward to that. Domestic violence fatality review. With this one, I think I'm going too long, so let me speed up a little bit. Being proactive rather than reactive. How can we keep people from dying from the hands of their domestic partner? And so this review team studies what's going on and provides resources to help to reduce the tide of domestic violence. It was a huge push for the city of Rockford, and then it became a huge push of mine when I learned of all the things that was going on throughout the state, and I coordinated with all the advocates throughout the state, and now we have a domestic violence fatality review team. Brought $3 million of youth violence prevention. Again, going back to what I said, if we empower our babies, they'll know how to operate, how to what's the word I'm looking for? Something to the community. How to contribute to the community. And so in this case, instead of teaching our babies the value of the dollar, we're teaching them the value of their own dollar, helping them understand you have what it takes to be successful. And so with youth violence prevention, a lot of that money went to the Park District, represented over there on the table, and then they've been doing great work with our children. And that, again, is helping to empower our kids who will grow up understanding how to become successful. Back to business grants, something that will help a lot of us here. If you're in the different district, I don't know how much that was, but in the 67th, we brought $2.48 million to the 67th to help businesses through this pandemic. Workforce development, the Workforce Connection got money to help AAR at our airport. As we know, the fastest growing hub in the world, so we got to do what we can to help them out. And jobs up the wazoo, it's not professional. Jobs, a lot of jobs at the airport. And so really investing in that. We have $400,000 that went to EDDR to help diversify our trades. And I just had a meeting with them this morning. We're going to work together to partner with the Northwestern Illinois Builders Trades, see if there's a partnership there, and a pipeline there to help diversify. And I'm thankful for the partnership with EDDR and the Northwestern Illinois Builders Trade. And there's two more that I did not put on this one, but I want to share with you. I helped to give an additional $1 million to Rosecrans to help them with the services that they're providing. And lastly, I have to say, it may make some of y'all mad, may not, but in 2020, I helped to get $4 million to Mercy Health to keep the Rockton campus open. Again, my district is the west and south side of Rockford. I have to, right? But then, since then, as we've heard, a lot of services have left the west side. So I took that money from them and gave it to Swedish American Hospital. So, and if you work at Swedes, and if Swedes, you're hearing me on the camera, thank you for all that you do. The one that's in yellow, home modification funds, is not a win. It will be a win, but I kind of count it as a defeat right now. I was unable to get $7.5 million for home modification funds. I've been working with the disability community, Centers of Independent Living, since last June on making sure that there's funds that go from Department of Human Services to the Illinois Center of Independent Living, and who will disseminate that funds to organizations such as RAMP, RAMP, and then RAMP will help their clients who need a ramp or who need rails or anything of that nature for their home, help them to get that, and with hopefully little red tape. That's the plan for that. Putting the money in the disability community for the disability community. For all too long, we always talk about ensuring that people could stay in their homes. In this case, we're helping to help them get out of their homes. A lot of individuals, we take it for granted, going down four steps or going up these steps to come in here. But there's individuals who have to, that's a chore for them. This is to help them. I met with them earlier today. this fight is not done. I want to hopefully get that passed either next year, later this year, or next year. Another thing that I'm really excited about, and before I get there, is come with me to Springfield. If you follow me on social media, State Rep West, follow me, like me, selfish plug. But if you follow me on social media, I take pride in this because I know of no other legislator who does this. When I'm in Springfield every day, I say something like this. Hey everybody, State Representative Maurice West, and I am back in Springfield. It is Tuesday, March 22nd. It's roughly 7:09 p.m. I'll try to fast forward, I'm sorry. You get what I'm saying. And so then it said March 23rd, and then I do another one, March 24th, March 25th. I'm telling my constituents what I'm doing in Springfield, or what's going on in Springfield, what their legislature is doing. There was a lot of times when I had to redo the video because I got on camera and said, today was a waste of time. I don't know why we spent 8 hours of doing nothing. But I'm like, they didn't want to hear that. Your legislator did good work. But if you go to my website, I have almost 50 come with me to Springfield since 2020, informing my constituents what I'm doing, what their legislator is doing, so that if someone was to say anything, West did X, Y, and Z. Nope, there's a video for it. Let me show you. Right? West believes in X, Y, and Z. I talked about it in this video. And so that you won't, I'm a politician, right? I'm still a politician. People still have that stigma, the way that they feel about politicians. This is my way of breaking it. So that people in this area knows what this politician is doing while he's in Springfield. I'm not hobnobbing and having fun. I'm trying to get work done for the people in the 67th. And this is my way of showing them what's happening. On top of that, one thing I'm really excited about is, hey everybody, State Representative. One thing I'm really excited about is the READY program. My office put together this program called the READY program, Reaching, Exposing, and Developing Youth. READY. So I partner with community organizers who deal directly with young people, and I expose the young people to different things that's happening in our community. For example, the very first one was taking kids from Youth Build and Washington Park Community Center to the airport so they can see what's going on in the airport and how many jobs are there. We have a group coming in to take a tour of Rockford University in the next couple of weeks and taking a tour of Rock Valley College. We've taken them to the Coronado, to BMO Harris Bank Center. We've taken them to Discovery Center, Rockford Art Museum. There you are, and enjoy themselves. And it's very different sets of kids from different areas. I'm trying to get to the point where I'm taking kids from this urban community of ours to a farm, so they'll understand where their food is coming from and appreciate rural Illinois as much as they do urban Illinois. And so why am I doing this? To expose them to the things that are out here. I remember when I worked at Rockford University, I brought some kids from Fairgrounds, the projects, brought them to Rockford University, and I was like, yeah, this is Burpee Center, and we were walking in between Fisher and Burpee, and this is Fisher Chapel, and then I turn around, and the kids and the moms were like, this is in Rockford? Oh yeah, this is your city. This is in Rockford, and guess what? You can go here when you get older. I can? And so there's a lot of kids who don't feel like they can partake in the services, the resources that we have here in this area. And so I want to expose them to it. And we've had much success with that, and it's really something that I'm excited about. Community involvement, I try to go to everything. I want to thank my wife again because she's such a trooper, because I have to be everywhere, you know? And we have an 18-month-old going on, I wouldn't say 13 because she can't talk yet, but the fabulous twos are already here. And I still have to be out in the community. I go to every event that I can, and I want to my constituents to know that no matter how small my event is, if I invite my state rep If he's available, he'll come. And so it got to the point where now I have constituents who just simply call me Maurice. And I'm like, that's a good thing, because now we built that relationship. And our success is all about building relationships with each other. And lastly, community investment. I'm a politician. To stay an elected official, I had to raise money. I have my own campaign account. Well, I've given $50,000 of my own campaign funds to my district in sponsorships and helping people get their 501c3 designation. Movies that's coming to, we're doing the Encanto, selfish plug again, Encanto, August 5th at Davis Park. Bring your kids. But however, I raised this money to help my community, not just to sit on it for myself. And so if I get to a point where I have a tumultuous campaign, I'll raise money and do it some more. But until then, I'm investing into my community, in more than just state dollars, but dollars that are meant for me. And I don't think the people who give to me do not mind if I help my community. Any way I can help my community to become better. So that's me and my legislative successes and updates for that. But let me now talk to you about updates for the state, and then I promise you I'll be done. So we have a $45.9 billion budget, and this is how it was broken down. $2.4 billion to public safety, $12 billion to education, and $1.8 billion to inflation relief, $16.1 billion to human services, and $13.6 billion to general services. And just a couple things that I want to share with all of you that I'm really excited about. I'm sorry, I saw you taking a picture. Go ahead and do that again. Got it? Sweet. There's $4 billion to pay down unpaid bills. All COVID-19 related borrowing is paid off for the state of Illinois. $900 million in delayed health insurance bills, paid off. $500 million in pension stabilization, late payment interest, also added to that. And then we're also infusing $1 billion into the once depleted rainy day fund, so that if something happens to where we have another budget impasse or anything of that nature, we have funds there that we can work on, and we're trying to build that up year by year. This fiscally responsible steps we are taking will continue to raise our credit score for the state and improve our financial forecasts, as we've already seen last year. $9.6 billion into paying our pension obligations. And I must say that one legislative interest I have for next term, if I am elected again, is to chair a pension reform working group. One of my personal goals is, if I'm in this office still in 10 years, I want to do anything and everything I can to either keep our population stable or increase our population in the state of Illinois. I'm going to do everything I can to keep from losing more people. One thing people talk about is pension or property tax. What pays our pension in a lot of areas? Property tax. So if we can find a way for pension reform, that's what I plan on working on next term. But we have $9.6 billion that will go to fully funding our pension obligations for fiscal year 23. And countless Illinoisans worked for years to earn their pensions, and we have to make sure we pay them. Not just because it's constitutional, we're constitutionally bound to do it, but because it's the right thing to do. $124 million to support local police. I know the slide said $2.4 billion for public safety, but an additional $124 million to support local police and combat violent crime. In addition to public safety funding that the governor put together, I don't know if you guys remember hearing about the Reimagining Public Safety. We have $250 million for that, but we're also adding another $200 million for public safety. Like I said, 124 for local police. This includes funding for body cameras, automatic license plate readers, ballistic testing and forensics, and non-lethal equipment to subdue suspects with less risk to life. And this also includes funding for mental health screenings for local police departments, funding for co-responder pilot programs, and law enforcement retention grants. I'm really excited about the co-responding model because we need our law enforcement officers to enforce the law. We don't need them to be, we're asking them to be police. We're not asking them to be therapists. We're not asking them to be mental health counselors. We have experts in that field. So the co-responder model helps us to do that. It helps our law enforcement to simply do what they need to do to protect and serve. This also includes $48 million is allotted to prevent carjacking with funding for local safety councils, youth summer job programs, money for Youth Build, money for Teen Reach, more programs that come to our region. $12 million would fund programs to help neighbors actively assist in reporting crimes. This will include money for witness protection and a tip line and a pilot program to use ring cameras to help solve crimes. We have to keep up with the technology. And so right now, before the law that we just passed this year, we cannot use the cameras on your doorbell. But now we can if you let us. And this helps us to do that. $70 million will go towards domestic violence prevention, and $2 million will go towards expanding trauma recovery centers. So I'm really excited about that. We fully funded the evidence-based education funding for our schools. Once again, teaching our children well, regardless of where they live, is key towards providing them with the opportunities that they need to be successful. And so I'm really excited about that, but I'm also excited about the fact that we are investing in our early childhood programs. Because as we know, if we don't get them in the early childhood stage, their testing, their development will be different from those who were caught during early childhood. So we want to make sure that there's programs for all children in early childhood. One thing I'm really excited about, one silver lining from this pandemic is, and I've said this everywhere I go, we cannot go back to a new normalcy. We had to be bigger, faster, stronger than we were in 2019 and before. This money for child care assistance is one of those that I feel is different from what we did. We need to focus on, there's been a lot of talk on 24-hour child care, helping single mothers, helping families who work third shift to be able to keep their jobs knowing that their children are safe. So we invested $3 billion into our child care assistance program and a $19.4 million increase from last year. So I'm really excited about that as well. Nursing home resources, $655 million for our nursing home resources. $105 million of that is appropriated to a portion to give the dedicated men and women in our nursing home system more resources to help provide the highest quality care for Illinois seniors. This money will be spent on higher wages for nursing assistants, as well as incentives for nursing homes to hire and retain direct care staff. We still need those individuals, and why that is something to be excited about is because anyone from Milestone, I'm going to use Milestone for example. Milestone, to work at Milestone, you can make the same amount at McDonald's as you can at Milestone before adding more money to this. And so Milestone, Mosaic, they were finding themselves losing employees because they went elsewhere. Have you seen Arby's is hiring at $14, $15 an hour? That's how much Milestone is paying right now for people who's been there for the longest. We have to invest in that because those of us, the least of us, right? Those of us who've been are able to use the activities of our limbs, we still deserve the resources that are out there. So I'm really happy about that. And train, grow the Illinois healthcare workforce. Our heroes are our healthcare workers, right, in this pandemic, but a lot of our mental health issues came from our healthcare workers. A lot of people left. We've seen suicide from our nurses and our doctors. We need to invest to make sure that we can replenish and to invest in our workers as well. And so I'm really happy about that. At the end of the day, I know for myself, I need to do a pivot towards, and I've been working on this since 2019, a pivot towards helping not just individuals in our community, but also helping the businesses in our community. For example, during the minimum wage debate, I talked to business owners throughout my district, and we're in a unique position because we are a stone throw away from Wisconsin, where things are just different, right? And so I filed a bill to help small business owners get a tax incentive. When they raise the minimum wage for their workers, they'll be able to raise the wages for the workers that they currently have. They'll get a tax incentive for that. I filed that in 2019. I haven't been able to be successful yet, but it's something I'm working on, and I'm going to be working on until I get that win. But I also want to develop that relationship with all of you to figure out what the issues are for our small business owners. I'm thankful. My wife is a small State Farm agent, small business owner, so you already know I get an earful when it's needed, and I'm thankful for that. But I want to hear from you too. So this is my contact information. Even if you don't live in my district, I love this region. I will help this out. If you live on the east side, far east side of Rockford, that's all right. What can I do to help? If you live in Loves Park, great. I represent Loves Park. What can I do to help? If you live in Machesney Park, I don't represent you, but great. How can I help you? Because I want to be of service to my community. I may not know you individually, but I love you. And that's why I'm a state rep, because I love people. I love the people that I represent. Even if it's a thankless job, I know that that's what I must do. And so that's why I'm giving you my phone number, because I want to help you. Thank you.